all in search of answers. BS for the ones about cars.
When the sun rose 3 days ago over Daytona Beach, Florida, it marked the traditional start of a new racing season. Sports cars on the high banks at the Rolex 24 at Daytona. Wednesday at Daytona International Speedway, the transporters unloaded the greatest variety of automotive competition machinery ever collected for a single race on these legendary high banks. Along with the cars came the drivers from every walk of life, representing more than 24 countries and every conceivable form of motorsport. A melting pot of the famous and the not-so, from every continent, champions and challengers, those who are racing to win, and those for whom racing at Daytona is a victory in itself. The first order of business was not endurance, but speed, the run for pole position.
Qualifying's tomorrow.
You see the drivers, the starting drivers, and these teams of drivers are now climbing into their machines, strapping in, a handshake. Nerves will be frayed to the absolute limit. And as I mentioned, perhaps one car in three now sitting so shiny on the starting grid will see the checkered flag.
Drivers, start your engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about a big round of applause for Sergeant Morris from the Florida Army National Guard and the 4 F-16s from the 482nd Fighter Wing right here at Homestead Air Force Base. So now, for those most famous words in racing, our Grand Marshal, 4-Star General Robert Fogelsong.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Well, we haven't forgotten about Dale Earnhardt, winner of the last 4 Winston Cup races, a man who has the utmost respect of his fellow drivers.
Being a driver, I know when people aren't looking, he can go 500 miles an hour.
I know for a fact that Dale Earnhardt has won all 253 races he's ever been entered in.
I know for a fact that that blue and yellow paint gives him 1,000 extra horsepower.
I think the thing about Dale Earnhardt is his unaggressive style, and he lets the race come to him.
There's a popular misconception about Dale Earnhardt's nickname around the garage area, but I know for a fact that it's really Mr. Clean.
Why, there's no one in the whole wide world of racing that I'd rather come down to the last lap with than my good friend, my buddy, my compadre, my confidant, Dale Earnhardt. And if I'm lying, may lightning strike me right where I stand.
Were those guys telling the truth?
I'll tell you what, Bob. I mean, we obviously had a little bit of fun with the situation, but not a one of them would trade positions, or would like to, all of them would like to trade positions with Dale so far in 1987.
It is a beautiful day with bright sunshine. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins along with Larry Newber, and this should be a dandy. Always good competition on the high banks of Michigan. And how about this racetrack? Well, in 1981, there were 65 lead changes during the course of a 400-mile race. That should indicate the kind of competition we will be having here this afternoon.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
As you sit waiting on a starting grid, it's important to control your emotions. You save your adrenaline best you can, but every driver in the world knows it, and every driver in the world fails at it, because if your heart isn't pumping a little bit right now, sitting down in one of those race cars in this unusual format, with all the gold waiting at the end of the day, well, I'm not sure you're alive.
got a twofer.
Yes, Judy chimed in there with Bobby's wife.
That was wonderful. The fireworks are in the air.
Welcome to the final Winston Cup race of 1987. Dale Earnhardt, of course, has already wrapped up the championship, but there is a lot at stake here this afternoon for several drivers. A driver could move up or down in the point standings depending upon his finish here this afternoon. A driver, if he has not won already, could guarantee a spot in the Winston 1988. Two drivers, Bobby Allison and Richard Petty, could move into the winner's circle with a victory here this afternoon. Plus, there are many drivers who are just simply wanting to impress a car owner or sponsor for 1988. Larry Nuber is with me in the booth here this afternoon, and who are the specific drivers involved in the situations here today, Larry?
Well, Bob, first of all, we get the feeling as we...
With more on this story, let's go to one of our two pit reporters for the afternoon. Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
And I know, despite what you think, I'm not crazy. This is an egg, I see, but this track is egg-shaped. And if you're not careful here and you miscue one time, well, that can happen.
Well, thank you, Ned. You know, 10 years ago, well, actually 20 years ago, a youngster from Tennessee used to sneak down to the local fairgrounds raceway to watch his idol race. A fellow by the name of Darrell Waltrip, who was the absolute scourge of Western Tennessee short tracks. We're talking about Bobby Hamilton. Now, little did Hamilton know that a few years later, he would become a two-time track champion at that same fairgrounds raceway.
All right, thank you very much, Jack. So 43 drivers are on the grid now, and in just a few moments, we'll be getting the command to start engines. This is a 500-kilometer race. We'll go 312 laps this afternoon. Let's go down now for the command to start engines. Waiting on that command from John Lacey to give the command to fire the engines. And 43 cars will be moving out onto the racetrack for a couple of warm-up laps and then the start of the race. Well, we didn't hear a command, but in any case, the engines have been started, at least some of them. Little confusion here at the beginning of the race. Some of the engines have started. NASCAR officials are waving their hands to those drivers who have started their cars, saying cut them off because the official command hasn't been given yet. And so a little bit of confusion before the start of this race. NASCAR Winston Cup Racing this afternoon from the Valley of the Sunshine. The Checker Auto Works 500 at Phoenix International Raceway, located about 25 miles outside of Phoenix in the Estrella Mountains.
Every sport has its arenas that become more than just places. Part of history itself, they become legends. And such is the case here in Darlington, South Carolina, the Darlington International Raceway.
We are here at Darlington, and this is Darlington. I know, despite what you think, I'm not crazy. This is an egg, I see, but this track is egg-shaped. Turns 1 and 2 are pointed. Turns 3 and 4 are more blunted. Because of a minnow pond off of turn 2, this track had to be egg-shaped. And if you're not careful here and you miscue one time, well, that can happen.
I'd like to mention my merchandise store. Merchandise store below has a whole bunch of really cool stuff of completely original designs. Everything comes out of my own pocket here. I don't have any sponsors. Nobody gives me no freebies, nothing like that. So hit that like, subscribe button down below as well. That also helps out the channel. We do some streaming for iRacing, but obviously we get some equipment every now and again. Take care. See you in the next video.